Hey Calvary kids, welcome back. A couple weeks ago, we watched a young David fight the giant Goliath with a slingshot. King Saul kept David with him for a while, and then Saul became jealous of David and tried to kill him. Last week, we saw David choose to let Saul go when Saul didn't see David hiding in a cave, and David never laid a hand on him. Eventually, Saul died and David took over as king of Israel. Let's find out what happened next. Find a comfy spot to sit and grab your telescope. I've got my telescope right here. I'm going to adjust it. And, oh, it's Nathan. Let's head into the story. We made it. Hop up and look around. We are in a beautiful palace. We stand on one foot. There are people bustling around, and we see David with a crown on his head talking to Nathan, a prophet. We widen our feet and clasp our hands behind our backs and lean forward to listen to their conversation. David said, "I live in a palace of nice cedar wood, but the Ark of the Covenant sits in a tent. Shouldn't God have a nicer house than I do?" Standing up and on the other foot now. Nathan initially thinks this seems like a reasonable suggestion and casually grabs a seat and says, "God is with you and do what you want." We drop to our knees. Don't you think they should pray about it first? Let's see what God thinks about this house David wants to build. It's nighttime now, and we become a bat hanging in the lofters. If you are near a wall or a couch, lay down on your back and place your feet upward against the wall. But if you aren't near a wall, just put your feet up into the sky. And this is our little bat pose. We see Nathan is sleeping, and God tells Nathan to pass on a message.
You used to be a shepherd, David, but I made you a king. I helped you defeat your enemies, and my people now live peacefully in their own land. I promise you, David, that you and your descendants will be kings. When you die, one of your sons will be king. He will be a strong king, and no one will be able to take his kingdom away from him. He will build a house for me. I will love him, and I will never leave him. When your son dies, his son will be king. Someone in your family will be king forever.
We fold our bat arms in, and then we stretch them out, and then we fold them in as we hear God's very important message to David.
David, are you going to build a house for me to live in? I brought my people out of Egypt. I gave them leaders to guide them. The entire time I have been with them, my house has been a tent. Did I ever ask anyone to build a temple for me?
We roll over into a prayer position because we know God is talking about the greatest king ever, Jesus. It's morning now, and we hop up and run 1, 2, 3 to see what David will think of this news. We lean sideways so we can hear Nathan. Nathan tells David everything. David goes into the tent he had set up for the Ark of the Covenant. We lean to the other side so we can hear him. He prays, "God, I don't deserve anything you have done for me, and you promised to do so much more. You are so great. There is no one like you. You choose the Israelites to be your own people. You rescued them from slavery in Egypt. God, please keep your promises. I know your words are always true." It's time to come back out of the Bible story. We stretch our feet forward, and we let out a nice big sigh. And we think about how awesome it is that God keeps his promises. Thanks for helping me tell the story today. It is amazing that God promised to send a forever king, Jesus. Remember our memory verse? The Lord will keep all of his promises. He is faithful in everything he does. That's Psalm 145, verse 13. That's it this week. See you later.